Welcome to you all for first PU English class, lesson number 12, Two Gentlemen of Verona. So, as we drove through the foothills of the Alps, two small boys stopped us on the outskirts of Verona. So, here two small boys stopped us. Us here means the narrator and also his car driver. So, as we drove through the foothills, we, as I have told you already, refers to the narrator and the car driver. They were driving through the foothills of the Alps mountain ranges in Europe. Two small boys stopped us. Suddenly, on the way, two small boys stopped them on the outskirts of Verona, on the outside of Verona. Verona, a lovely city in Italy. They were selling wild strawberries. Those two boys were selling wild strawberries. Strawberries means a kind of fruits. So those fruits were bright scarlet berries. Those fruits were bright red colored and fresh, that looked delicious against the dark green leaves lining against the wicker basket. Those fruits were fresh and dark green leaves were covered. So those fruits in a wicker basket. Wicker basket means a basket made up of thin sticks of wood, and those fruits were arranged neatly in the basket. Don't buy, warned Luigi. Luigi, as I have already told you, the name of the driver of the narrator's car. Luigi, the car driver, asked the narrator not to buy those fruits because the driver was a cautious one. He was very intelligent, wise and active one. You will get fruit much better in Verona. So the reason given by Luigi, the car driver, is that so they will get better fruits in Verona city itself. Besides, these two boys, he shrugged his shoulders. So second reason given by the car driver was that, so when he was giving the second reason, he shrugged his shoulders. Shrugged his shoulder means he expressed his dislike to convey his disapproval of their shabby appearance. Shabby means not clean. Those two boys were not clean. Therefore, the driver suggested the narrator not to buy those fruits. One boy had on a worn jersey and cut off khaki pants. Now, here in this paragraph, description of the two boys. One boy put on worn jersey, old and damaged jersey, and cut off khaki pant. So he wore half khaki pants. The other boy a shortened army tunic. The other boy wore shortened army tunic. Tunic means a long garment without sleeves, gathered in loose folds about his skinny frame. Totally, whatever the boy had worn was a loose one. Yet, gazing at the two little figures, when they looked at these two little boys, figures here means boys, with their brown skins. Those two boys had brown skins, tangled hair, so their hair was curly and dark, earnest eyes. They had dark, interesting eyes. We felt ourselves, we, the pronoun we refers to the narrator and the driver. We felt ourselves strangely attracted when the narrator and the driver looked at them. They were attracted by those two boys. My companion spoke to the boys. My companion means the narrator's companion. The driver spoke to the boys, discovered that, learnt that, came to know that they were brothers. Those two boys were not friends, they were brothers. Nicola, the elder, was 13. The elder brother, his name was Nicola, and he was 13 years old. Jacopo, who barely came up to the door handle of the car. The second boy's name was Jacopo. He came directly to the near to the car handle, and he was nearly 12, means he was about 12 years old. Jacopo, elder brother, was 13 years old. Nicola was about 12 years old. We bought their biggest basket, then set off toward town. Then the narrator and the driver purchased the biggest basket of strawberries, and then they started their journey towards the city. Verona is a lovely city. Verona is a very interesting, attractive city, rich in history. Verona has its own historical background with quiet medieval streets. The streets here in Verona are quiet, peaceful. So, and splendid buildings of an exquisite plain honey color. Though buildings in Verona are so pale honey colored, dim honey colored. Romeo and Juliet are reputed to have lived there. Romeo and Juliet, these two lovers, lived in the same city, and bombed in the recent war. It has lost its bridges, but not its gaiety or charm. So in the war, so a bomb was blasted on the city, even though the charm, the attraction, the beauty of the city had not lost. Only during the bomb blast, bridges were lost. Next morning, coming out of our hotel, so the narrator and his driver Logi were in a hotel, and the next morning they started off outside the hotel. We drew up short. They started their journey by car, a short journey. There bent over shoe shine boxes. There one boy was bending over shoe shine boxes beside the fountain in the public square. There in that city, there was a circle, public circle was there, square means circle, and the boy was sitting by the side of the fountain with boxes beside him and doing a brisk business. And these two boys were doing quick business, brisk business, quick business, were our two young friends of the previous afternoon. Those two boys were none other than whom they met yesterday afternoon. So the same two boys, Nicola and Jacopo, were there in their business. We waited for a few moments. We, the narrator and the car driver, waited for a few minutes. Then, as the trade slackened, when the business became less, slackened means became less, we went over. These two, the narrator and driver, went near the two boys. They greeted us. They, two boys, welcomed the narrator and the driver with friendly faces. These two boys welcomed the narrator and driver with friendly faces. I thought you picked fruits for a living, I said. Here, the pronoun I stands for the narrator. The narrator told. I thought you picked fruit for a living. So, according to the narrator, he thought that these two boys only sold fruits for their living. For that, answer came from Nicola. We do many things, sir. Nicola answered the narrator. He told the narrator that they did so many things to earn money. Nicola answered seriously. He glanced at us hopefully. At the time of answering, Nicola looked at them hopefully. Often we show visitors through the town. Again and again, they took around the town the visitors to Juliet's tomb. In that city, they also take the narrators to Juliet's tomb and other places of interest. Other interesting places are also shown by these two places. All right, I smiled, you take us along. Then the narrator smilingly asked them. So, if they wanted to take around the city, so all right, I smiled. The narrator smiled and told, you take us along. The narrator and the driver wanted to go around the city. So, with the help of these two boys. As we made the rounds, my interest was again provoked by their remarkable demeanor. As they made their rounds in the city, my interest, the interest of the narrator, was again provoked by their remarkable demeanor. So, these two boys had unusual demeanor. Demeanor, their appearance and obedience, they had their own behavior, good behavior. They were childish enough. So, outwardly, those two boys were no doubt childish enough, because one was 13 years old and another brother was about 12, and in many ways quite artless. These two boys were quite innocent. Artless means innocent. These two boys no doubt were quite innocent, although his lips were paler than they should have. Jacopo, although his lips were paler than they should have been. Always the lips of Jacopo were paler, even though he was lively as a squirrel, even though Jacopo was as active as a squirrel. Nicola's smile was steady and engaging. The second brother, younger brother, his smile was always fixed. Steady means fixed, and he was always with a smiling face. And yet, in both these boys' faces, there was a seriousness which one respected, even though there was a seriousness on their faces. So, by their hard work, they were respected. An air of purpose far beyond their years. Whenever the narrator and the driver looked at them, they thought that so they had a purpose beyond their years. They had a good purpose to work hard. In the week which followed, we saw them frequently. In a week, the narrator and the driver saw them again and again, for they proved extremely useful to us. So, in the next year, these two boys became extremely useful, helpful to the narrator and his companion. If we wanted a pack of American cigarettes, here in these lines, how these two boys became helpful to the narrator and his companion is explained here. If we wanted a pack of American cigarettes, whenever the narrator was in need of a pack of American cigarettes or seats for the opera, seats for the musical drama. So, opera means musical drama. Whenever he was in need of American pack of cigarette or seats for the opera musical drama or the name of a good restaurant, or whenever they are in need of a good hotel, good restaurant that could provide good ravioli, the hotel which provides Italian dish, good Italian dish. Nicola and Jacopo could be relied upon to satisfy our needs. These two brothers, Nicola and Jacopo, could be relied upon, they trusted upon to satisfy our needs. These two boys went on satisfying their needs with their useful, cheerful competence. Whatever help they did, whatever the service these two boys did, they did it with cheerful competence, happily, with much ability. They helped the narrator and his companion. Totally, these two boys became much helpful to the narrator. What struck one most was their unremitting. What struck one most was their unremitting willingness to work. So, one heart-touching feeling in the mind of the narrator was that their continuous willingness to work, unremitting continuous willingness to work. Whatever work they did it with full willingness. During those summer days under the hot sun, especially in the summer days under the scorching sun, hot sun, and in the long evenings when the air blew chill from the mountains. So, in the summer evenings, whenever there is a chill the air blew chill from the mountains, they shined shoes. These two boys polished the shoes. Shined shoes means polished the shoes, sold fruit, hawked newspapers. They also sold papers by going door to door. Conducted tourists round the town. These two boys took round the visitors the town, ran errands. They also did various works like sending messages also to the people. Exploited every avenue. These two boys used each and every avenue in the city, which the troubled economy of the town left open to them. Even during the night time also, the town was open for them to do their different works. One night, we came upon them in the windy and deserted square. One night, we, the narrator and the driver, in a windy deserted square, it was a circle, resting on the stone pavement. These two boys were taking rest on the stone big rock beneath the pale arc lights. They were sitting under the dim round lights, arc round lights. Nicola sat upright. Nicola sat straight. He sat honestly, his face drawn by fatigue. So, Nicola was completely tired, fatigue tired. A bundle of unsold newspapers lay at his feet. A bundle of newspapers were put at his feet, while Jacopo his head pillowed upon his brother's shoulder. Jacopo, he put his head on his brother's shoulder and he was asleep because of tiredness. It was nearly midnight. The time was midnight. It was during the midnight also. They worked hard. Why are you out so late, Nicola? Asked the narrator. The narrator asked Nicola why both of them were out so late at night. At that time, Nicola answered, he replied that he had started sharply, I spoke, but now he gave me his quiet, independent glance. At first, instead of giving him answer, he gave his quiet, independent look. Glance means, so look, waiting for the last bus from Padua. At last. So he answered, Nicola answered that, so he was waiting for the last bus from Padua. We shall sell all our papers when it comes in. When the bus arrives into the bus stop, they sell all our papers. Therefore, they were out so late at night. Must you keep at it so hard? You both look rather tired. Once again, the narrator asked them, both of you are now much tired, even though why should you be outside until midnight? We are not complaining, sir, said Nicola. Nicola said, we are not complaining about our hard work. Whatever hard work we do it willingly, sir. His tone, his voice, while perfectly polite. At the time of giving answer, Nicola's voice was perfectly polite, respectful. Discouraged further inquiry, he became discouraged for the next inquiry by the narrator. But next morning, when I went over to the fountain to have my shoes shined, I said. Next morning, the narrator once again went to him to get his shoes polished. So, to get his shoe polished. When I went over to the fountain to have my shoes shined, I said, the narrator said, Nicola, the way you and Jacopo work, you must earn quite a bit. The hard work, whatever hard work you are doing, you earn little money. You spend nothing on clothes also. And whatever they earn, they never spend much money on clothes, because earlier, so it is already described, both of them had worn old clothes, shabby. You eat little enough. When I see you having a meal, it's usually black bread and figs. Usually, these two boys eat very little, so just like black bread and figs they used to eat. Tell me, what do you do with your money? The narrator was very curious to know and asked them, so what they did with their money which was earned by them. So whatever money they earn, they spend very little amount. Even though the narrator was very eager to know why they were working hard and why they were spending little money. He colored deeply. For this question, he became dark colored under his sunburn, then grew pale. Then he became dim, pale, dim, dim, dim. His gaze fell to the ground. Instead of giving him answer, he just looked on the ground with head lowered. You must be saving up to emigrate to America, I suggested. Then the narrator suggested one thing, that they must be saving up money and they wanted to emigrate to America. He looked at me sideways. Then the boy Nicola looked at the narrator sideways, spoke with an effort. Then he started to speak with effort. We should greatly like to go to the States. They like to go to the USA States. But here at present we have other plans. Before going to America, they had some plans to do, some works to do. What plans? Asked the narrator. He smiled uncomfortably. The boy smiled at the narrator uncomfortably with that remote air which never failed to baffle me. Just plans, sir, he answered in a low voice. In a low voice, he answered the narrator, only the plans, sir. Well, I said. Then the narrator told the boy, we are leaving on Monday. The narrator and his companion were leaving that town on Monday. Is there anything I can do for you before we go? The narrator wanted to help the boys before he leave that city on Monday. Therefore he asked, is there anything I can do for you before we go? Nicola shook his head. Nicola shook his head negatively. He shook his head negatively. But suddenly Jacopo's nostrils quivered. But suddenly Jacopo's nostrils quivered, trembled like a puppy's nostrils, small dog's nostrils, and he piped up eagerly. Then Jacopo spoke eagerly, piped up, spoke eagerly. So, let us stop here only. So, next time, the second lecture number 2. So, next time we shall cover the next one. So, thank you to one and all for listening the explanation. Thank you.